read less, understand more, earn a higher TOEFL reading score. Let me show you what I mean. Take a look. Questions you're about to see come directly from the official TOEFL IBT Tests Volume 2, 3rd edition from ETS, the people who make the test. Remember, when practicing for your TOEFL IBT, use only the most up-to-date, genuine TOEFL IBT practice tests. When looking at this question, how does it make you feel? Is it overwhelming? Does it cause a little anxiety? Do you think it's going to take a long time for you to answer it? Keep in mind that anxiety and confusion is built into the TOEFL IBT to overwhelm you and to get you to quit on yourself while taking the test. However, the TOEFL IBT is much easier than it looks. For example, question number 1. This is a long question with big words that are meant to intimidate. The paragraph is long with a lot of large vocabulary words and a subject that is meant to intimidate. But this is actually a much easier question than it looks when you use the methods that I teach you. For example, look at your question. It states, before the 1970s, most archaeologists held which of the following views about the earliest people to reach the Americas? Now, you may be tempted to read this paragraph looking for the answer. However, the test does not work that way. What we're looking for is the sentence that is directly related to the question. In this case, we're going to look for something that'll make it much easier to find the information in the paragraph that is directly related to the question. For me, I love numbers and words that begin with capital letters. Looking at your paragraph, not reading, we're looking at our paragraph and we're looking for a sentence that has the numbers 1970s. Do you see it? Use your finger to scan. There it is, 1970s. Do we have the word Americas in this sentence? Yes, and there it is. What else is our question asking about? Most archaeologists. Does our sentence talk about most archaeologists? Yes, it does. Now we know that we are looking at the sentence that is directly related to the question. But wait, this is still a very long sentence and can be quite overwhelming. It also has a lot of large vocabulary words that we may not know. And so this sentence is intimidating and designed to get us to be overwhelmed emotionally. Yet, there is a skill that I teach called sentence simplification that will help you to read less, understand more, and be able to eliminate wrong choices quickly, giving you the answer to the question accurately so that you can move on to the next question. And how do we do that? Keep in mind that every sentence is telling a story, and that story tells us the information that is directly related to the question. What is the story that this sentence is telling us? Well, what is it that the question is asking about? It's asking us about the views that the archaeologists hold. Well, where does our sentence talk about that? Our sentence says that archaeologists did not consider the coast a route into the Americas. But why? Because geologists believed the entire coast was covered by glacial ice. Notice that I've ignored several words in this sentence. If you want to know more about how to do this, watch the sentence simplification video. But now that we have our clue from the passage, that sentence that is directly related to our question, let's use this information to eliminate wrong choices. Looking at A, what is A about? They could not have sailed from this place to this place and then south because why? It was thought that glacial ice covered the entire coastal region. Is this related to our clue in the passage? Well, I don't know about sailing directly from this place to this place and then south, but I do see that this part is directly related. So rather than think right or wrong, I'm going to say, I don't know, and simply move on to B. B states, they were not aware that the climate would continue to become milder. Our sentence that is directly related to the question is talking about the entire coast being covered by glacial ice. Is B directly related to our clue in the passage? No, and therefore it's not possible. And what about C? They would have had no interest in migrating southward from this place until after the glaciers began to melt. Well, is our sentence talking about their interest? No, and therefore C is not possible. And what about D? They lacked the navigational skills and the boats needed for these trips. Is our related sentence in the paragraph talking about these navigational skills? No. And therefore, A, although I don't know if it's right or wrong, I know it's the only one that is related to the clue in the passage that is directly related to my question. And according to ETS's rules, A is the best answer. If you're feeling a little confused right now about how I just answered this question, I certainly understand, because without knowing how the test works, you're not going to be able to answer the questions the way ETS requires you to. Most tutors are teaching you that you have to read, understand, take notes, use your notes to answer questions. That's not going to work. You simply don't have the time, and they put a lot of extra information in the paragraphs to trick you into picking wrong choices. There are very specific step-by-step procedures that will help you to answer these questions quickly and accurately by reading less, understanding more, so that you can get a higher TOEFL reading score. Hello, my name is Mr. Hearn, and I have been a TOEFL tutor since 2007. I've owned my own academy. I've had a TOEFL testing center. I've written 18 TOEFL guides. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Now let's take a look at another question that would ordinarily be very difficult to answer. But once you know how to do it by reading less and understanding more, you can get a higher score on your TOEFL reading test. Take a look. Here we are with another question from the same book, and this one is now an inference question. How do we know it's an inference question? It says the word suggests in the question. Inference questions will use the word inferred, implied, suggest, or concludes. Notice that I didn't read the question before identifying it. That's a very important part of the procedures you must follow to get the answer to each question quickly and accurately. But let's continue. What is this question asking us about? One reason ancient Egyptian art has been viewed less favorably than other art is that ancient Egyptian art lacks. Notice that this question does not have a question mark. It is an open-ended question that is designed to create confusion and a sense of anxiety and panic. There is a way of understanding this question much better. It's called rephrasing the question, and I teach that in my course. But for now, let's just ask, what is this question asking about? And what does it ask about that? It's asking about ancient Egyptian art. And what is it asking about that ancient Egyptian art? It's asking what this art lacks to cause it to be viewed less favorably than other art. So now that we understand what the question is asking about, where should we look in our passage? Well, we want to look for what the question is asking about. However, if I'm looking for ancient Egyptian art, I actually find it here, here, and here. Now, this could be a problem because I don't ever want to read the entire paragraph. I need to narrow down what I'm going to read so that I can read less. I want to know which of these sentences is directly related to my question. My question is asking about what this art lacks to cause it to be viewed less favorably than other art. Which of these sentences that contains my ancient Egyptian art or Egyptian art topic that also talks about how this art is viewed less favorably? Simply scanning the passage, we find this phrase compared unfavorably with art of other cultures. Now I know that I can ignore the rest of the paragraph and concentrate on this sentence. And this sentence begins, in fact, a lack of understanding concerning the purpose of this art has led it to be compared unfavorably with the art of other cultures. But this does not tell us the information that the question is asking about, and therefore I need to read a little more. But what? What shall I read? When you understand the structure of the English language and the grammar, you will see this little punctuation right here. That is called a colon, which I call a dot dot. This punctuation tells you that these two sentences are directly related and that the following sentence that begins with the word why is giving you the information that goes with the previous sentence. And what does this sentence say about this art? The Egyptians not developed sculpture in which the body turned and twisted through space. There is no reason to read any more of the paragraph. We now have the information that is directly related to the question, and we can use this information to eliminate wrong choices. The main idea of this sentence is the body turned and twisted through space. Looking at choice A, is choice A about the body turning and twisting through space? A says a realistic sense of the human body proportion. If you don't know what proportion is, you'll just have to leave this choice. But if you understand that proportion has to do with how one part of the body size relates to another, you'll know that it's not about the motion of the body turning and twisting through space. So A is not related. What about B? A focus on distinctive forms of varying sizes. Again, our clue is about the body turning and twisting through space, not about varying sizes, so B is not possible. What about C? The originality of European art has nothing to do with the body turning and twisting through space, and therefore C is not possible. And D says examples of formal art that show the human body in motion. This is directly related to the body turning and twisting through space. Therefore, D is the credited answer. All right, so I haven't shown you step by step exactly how to answer this question, which I do show you in my online video course, but you can see that by following the procedures that I teach you, you can read much less, understand more, use the clue in the passage and the rules of the test to eliminate wrong choices, get the credited answer very quickly, and get that respectable passing score on your TOEFL IBT. If you really want to pass your TOEFL with a score of over 25 or 28 in your reading section, subscribe to my online video course, pass your TOEFL IBT, and get on with your life. Now, let me show you one more question that will help you to read less, understand more, and earn a higher TOEFL reading score? Take a look. Now, this question is obviously a vocabulary question. I know many people have difficulty with vocabulary questions, but honestly, it's not as difficult as you may think when you know how the test works so you can read less and get a higher score. First of all, when you see the highlighted word, if you don't know what this word means, that's just fine because the question is not asking you about that word. They're asking you about the information in the paragraph that is related to the phrase that contains that word. Looking at your paragraph, we see that highlighted word here. And what we want is not to read the entire paragraph, not even the entire sentence. I want to know, what is this word related to in a phrase? This word is related to the phrase, something research into the method of something. What is it in this sentence that is directly related to doing something for research into the method of something? If we look at our sentence that begins here, so admired were these pieces that they encouraged the development of something. This phrase, something with ed ending, research into the method of something, is directly related to this phrase, encouraged the development of something. We're talking about the word encouraged. Encouraged is directly related to our highlighted word that is instigated. Remember, it's not about the highlighted word, it's about the clue in the paragraph. Now we're going to take our word encouraged the development of something, and look at our choices. Does improved have the same meaning as encouraged? It does not. Investigated. Is investigated the same as encouraged? No, it is not. Narrowed. Does narrowed have the same word as encouraged? No, it does not. Caused. Does caused have a similar meaning to the word encouraged? Well, if you encourage someone to do something, you have caused them to do it, and therefore choice D is the credited answer. Again, I haven't shown you exactly the processes that I teach you in my course, but I am showing you that you do not read the entire paragraph ever, 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 ever. You don't even have to read the entire sentence that contains the highlighted word. You're looking for the phrase. Now, sometimes the related phrase is in the sentence with the highlighted word. Sometimes that phrase that's related to the highlighted word is in a related sentence, either the sentence before or the sentence after. It can get complicated, but I teach you how to do this step by step in a very organized and simple way in my online video course that I'd like to see you subscribe to, because I really want you to pass this TOEFL IBT. Now, I want to tell you something right now. Many people are telling me that I don't post videos enough or often enough. That's because I am teaching 2 to 3 classes a day, every day, to help my students pass their TOEFL IBT as quickly as possible with the highest score as possible. So I don't make a lot of YouTube videos. I'm not a paid actor like other people, okay? There are other people calling themselves YouTube tutors. They're not. They're paid actors reading a script. I'm the real deal. If you really want to pass your TOEFL IBT, subscribe to my video course. If you need personal classes, let me know. I'll schedule you in, help you to pass your TOEFL IBT with a respectable passing score so you can be done with this stupid test and get on with living a successful life. I look forward to hearing from you.